Arctic trade and Arctic investments can be addressed from many perspectives, and I will limit myself to reflect on a few points and questions that springs from my neck of the Arctic. When discussing investments and trade opportunities in Greenland, I am often met with three different types of questions. One is it right for Greenland to profit from the climate crisis? Another is Greenland really interested in outside investments? And finally, how is Greenland affected by the new geopolitical reality? These three questions represent different approaches to Greenland and Greenlandic politics. I promise to answer the questions in the shortest way possible, and as a real politician, I therefore will begin my speech in the prehistoric era. Survival in the Arctic has historically come down to the clever and adequate use of available resources. You took what you needed and nothing more. Our ancestors lived in accordance with the modern concept of circular economy. And I find that the idea of circularity is very well adaptable to Arctic trade and investment politics today. Socio-ecological viability, the pursuit of equality, the sustainment of cultural tradition are all factors that must be weighed in when deciding on the path forward in terms of trade and investments. In the Arctic, having small populations scattered all over a vast territory, speaking languages reserved for the few, having a workforce that is small in number, we must make certain that positive development is not merely understood by economics. Wealth is not solely a monetary concept. This position may contrast somewhat to the normal language applied to trade and investment, but it could be part of the new normal. In Greenland, we have walked the talk, and for instance, we have banned further exploration of uranium, oil, and gas. This can be viewed as limitations, but it could also be viewed in a greater picture where a green strategy plays out, building on a long tradition of circularity. Across political coalitions and time, we have followed the same economic objectives. We aspire to develop our country based on an open economy. We aim to gradually strengthen our overall economic autonomy within the frame of a welfare state model, and we desire to diversify the economy by developing new revenue sectors. Major public investments into expanding hydropower potential are being carried out. And along with favorable conditions for private investors, the setting for successful green ventures has never been better in Greenland. We have allocated our resources to focus on the green transition economy, including critical minerals, hydropower potentials, carbon capture and storage, alongside a very strong fishery. The new airport infrastructure will act as a trade and investment enabler, and aside from the airports themselves, the development will also improve access to already existing infrastructure, making things better for the local communities around the bigger cities as well. When it comes to the consequences of climate change and pollution, all roads do not lead to Rome, but to the Arctic, where everyday life and livelihoods are affected negatively, especially in Inuit communities. The government of Greenland is quite aware of the spike in attention coming our way as a result of the climate crisis. Our wholehearted embrace of green growth helps position Greenland as a responsible actor internationally. It signals a strong resolve from Greenland to be part of the climate crisis solution rather than a symbol of its problem. And we find Greenland a natural hub for activities in this regard, both in research and in business. The new and still emerging geopolitical reality is not entirely clear for all of us yet, but the already growing focus on new supply chains in energy and minerals that emerge as a result of the climate crisis and the pandemic has not lessened with in the last months and the awful war in Ukraine. The need to diversify and expand supply chains and the renewed international focus on finding stable democracies as business partners will only help our efforts to engage investors in the desired development into green growth. So to answer my initial questions, Greenland regrets the climate crisis and the severe consequences that follows. We are absolutely ready to be part of the mitigation efforts. As it is, we are able to provide a range of investment possibilities related to the green transition. As a small country, we need outside investments since our financial market and local private sector in size is not capable of lifting larger projects without partners. We do expect people and investors to reply and adhere to our high standards we have in both environment and social cultural considerations. And we stand as a serious partner. Aside from being beautiful, Greenland is also a viable and able business environment. Thank you.